So in this video, I'm going to give you writing prompts and activities so that you can develop your writerly senses. And this is going to give you a powerful tool for making your writing more impactful, richer, and more creative and more original. So stick around because there will be 2 activities and I'll give you step-by-step instructions for those. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you examples of how they've been used, how different writers have used these to really good effect, used the idea of really engaging your senses as a writer to make your writing stronger. So let's get started. So the first of these activities I call remember, forget, imagine. So let's start the remembering part. I want you to remember one of 3 things. You can either remember a recent walk that you've been on, or the last shop that you went into and bought something, or perhaps a meal, a really elaborate meal that you've had. So choose one of those things and remember it. And I want you to write down all the details you can remember. Use sensual memories as much as you can. So what did it taste like? What did it smell like? What did the clothes you were wearing feel like against your skin? What was the weather like? What could you hear? What could you, all those things. And just write down loads and loads of stuff. So that's the remembering bit. Choose one of those things and remember. Okay? And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to forget. You're going to forget all the cliches. You're going to take a red pen or your delete button, depending what you use, and forget all the stuff that is a little bit tired and a little bit heard it before and a little bit came to you just really easily, and just cross them all out. Get rid of them. Forget those. Okay? You may find your list has reduced slightly. That's fine, that's fine, that's part of the exercise. So forget those. And then you're going to imagine, and you're going to imagine new ways of writing those same things. So if you've found something that you like, but you've written it in a cliched way, cross out the cliche and think really way outside the box, if I can use a cliche to explain it. Go somewhere else and find a way that describes it using the senses that is different, that you haven't heard before, that you haven't used before, that doesn't come readily, that isn't just there for you to find, but you have to go hunting for it. And that is remember, forget, imagine. Okay, that's activity number 1. Activity number 2 is abstract to concrete. So in this activity, we're going to take abstract nouns and turn them into concrete nouns. We're going to take things that you cannot touch, see, smell, feel, hold in your hand, all those sort of things. Those are abstract things, and you're going to turn them into concrete things that you can detect with your senses, that you can experience through your senses. So for example, love is the most obvious abstract noun. That is a thing that is very real and very powerful, and we all want to talk about it and think about it, but you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't hear it. So we're going to take something like love, jealousy, hate, disappointment, ambition, all those abstract nouns, and turn them into concrete nouns. Now the way you do this is by asking yourself questions using your senses. So say we took the idea of love. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? If it had a colour, what colour would it be? If you could put your hand on it, what would it feel like? Ask yourself questions and try to get answers using your senses. And then you can describe that abstract noun using concrete terms. So I'll give you an example of this. For instance, love is the colour of honey with the sunlight shining through it. So that is using the abstract concept of love and then turning it into something that you can see. And also honey might have a smell to it, and it's definitely got a texture. So it's giving you quite a lot of senses to work with to imagine that thing. You could say poverty tastes of mouldy bread and rotten potatoes. You could say hate smells like wet ashtrays. You don't have to use similes, but they're just ways of taking something that is abstract and making it concrete. So have a go with those. Think of your abstract noun. Ask yourself questions about it, sensual and sensory questions, and then come up with the answers and see if you can then use that to describe those abstract things. Okay, and see how you get on with that. So don't be daunted by these activities, they're quite challenging. You might want to do them separately, or you might want to start with one and move on to the other. And now I'm going to show you examples of how other people have used senses in their descriptive writing or in writing action or in dialogue sometimes too, and come up with ways to really give us an idea of the senses engaging us in that writing, because the writer has been really creative and imaginative in the ways that they've used those senses. So I'm going to read you a few extracts now, and just short ones, and I'll give you the titles of the books so that you can follow them up later on. So the first of these is taken from a book called How to Write Damn Good Fiction by James Frey, and I highly recommend that book if you haven't seen it. It's been around a while, but it's one I've always liked and I've used a lot. And there's an example he uses in there that I'm going to quote here. A cold wind gusted down Main Street and the wet snow had already started to fall. Sam's toes felt numb in his shoes and the hunger in his belly started gnawing at him again. His nose was running. He wiped it on his sleeve, no longer caring how he looked. It's very evocative. As I say, if you get that book, you'll see a lot of good examples like that in there, and I think that's just a nice little passage to show you how he's used that sort of sensory writing. I particularly like the running nose wiping on his sleeve, and get that. Okay, the next one is an extract taken from Cloud Atlas, which is one of my top 10 all-time favourite books, Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, and I wish I could write like him. Okay. Dinner was a balsa-wood chicken, powdery potatoes and a bastard claret. Ostend is all tapioca greys and stained browns, leery Gothic carapaces, shrubbery tufted brick spires, medieval overhangs, laundry sagging from windows, cobbled whirlpools that suck your eye in. It's just lovely. I love that idea of all tapioca greys and stained browns, because it isn't just giving you a visual thing, it's giving you, tapioca has a smell and a taste, and it probably has all sorts of memory. I mean, for me it's a little, but some people like it, whatever. They're things that you remember through your senses, and he's described the way the potatoes are powdery and the chicken is balsa wood. I mean, that's just brilliant. How many of us have experienced that sort of chicken, sadly. Okay, the next one is a bit more difficult to read, so forgive me if I trip up here, but this is from The Book of Dave by Will Self, who is an outstanding British writer. The Book of Dave, okay. Late on the following day, when he'd been waiting for nearly 14 hours, Dave Rudman was summoned to the 8th floor and, accompanied by an orderly, rode the lift up. Insanity stank out the confined space like an eggy fart. There was a bird-beaked woman with a pot plant, a limp technician carrying a tray silently clattering with plaster casts of teeth, a yellow-faced girl in a yellow dress eating a yellow aerated cream dessert in a yellow plastic pot, but the stench came from the cabbie. Even so, Dave wouldn't have been admitted if he hadn't attacked the orderly and clumsily tried to throttle him. Okay, now, it's a very complicated book and there's a lot going on there. But again, he's used senses really powerfully and imaginatively and differently, and I love the repetition of the yellow everything in that sentence. He hasn't held back from that. You can, find something and really use it, and then when you think you've used it all, just think, can I go a bit further with this? Can I use it again? Can I use repetition as well? Or can I use something to counterbalance that? Can I use a contrast? And once you've found your lovely, maybe your abstract and concrete example, go a bit further with it. See where you can take it, okay? Try these exercises. If you've got ideas of your own of how to do this sort of thing, tell us in the comments. Do feel free to share this with people. Let us know what you think. Put in the comments your experiences of working with activities like this and how you found them, and whether you have a favourite writer or a favourite passage or even a favourite poem or something like that that really shows you what it is to engage the senses in your writing. And poetry is a brilliant way to do that. If you're stuck for ideas, read some poetry for half an hour and then go back to your exercise. Okay? Good luck with your writing.